folks. Happy Saturday night. Hope everybody's doing well. It's my monthly, I guess, hangout, shoot the shit, talk about what's going on show. I like to do these once a month at some point, sort of as a catch-up thing. And yeah, so here we are in the middle of winter. I can't really complain too much, actually. This winter's been pretty mild so far, so I can't really complain. For Canada, it's been a pretty mild winter, so hopefully your winters haven't been bad so far where you're at. But let me say hello to a few people that have joined us. Spencer Cron, hey buddy, how you doing? There's Mitch. Welcome, Mitch. Tyler Patterson, nice to see you. Jason Matahavik, happy Saturday night. Yes, happy Saturday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Oh, thanks, Brian. Brian's just stopping in to say hello. Got the same shirt, Giant Tiger. Yeah, yeah. This is one of these, obviously not an official, like a Led Zeppelin knockoff shirt. And it was in the laundry pile. I thought it was mine, and it was actually my daughter's. So I'm stealing her shirt for the evening. Guitar Man 45, how you doing? So I am playing playing the PRS today. Don't really play this much, this guitar much, I should say. But it's one of those things that, you know, you don't pick it up for a while, and then you pick it up and you're like, you know why you own it, because this thing just kind of plays itself. It's just so easy to play, man. So easy to play. Hey, there's Gary Holt. Welcome. How you doing? Hope you're doing all right, man. Like the tone? Yeah, this is all the sound that I'm using is using the bias effects. I usually, when I do these, I usually use my pedals, but for whatever reason, when I use my pedals, what I hear in the room sounds really good, but then when I go back and I watch the videos later, it's like, yeah, man, that tone is kind of eh. And for whatever reason, when I use the bias effects, and bias effects, by the way, is just software. Yeah, this is all analog, and I'm using the sound that I'm using is something that I think it was a preset, and I finagled it. This is all like Mesa Boogie dual rectifier. So, and but using the bias effects because I've done it a couple of times, I find that those for whatever reason those always seem to translate a little better and sound better going out there. So that's why I'm with bias again today. Yesterday would have been Eddie Van Halen's 69th birthday. Son Wolfgang did a nice tribute to him. Eddie Van That's the only Van Halen song that I've played in a bar. I wouldn't attempt anything else. That's about the only one I can handle, even though I flubbed the first time going through. I played that in like probably maybe a year. Yeah, Lessons with Hack, sure. That's the only Van Halen I'll do. Won't do anything else. At least not in a bar. Van Halen's one of those songs, or one of those bands that you gotta, if you're gonna play Van Halen, you gotta nail it, or they'll be waiting for you in the parking lot afterwards. Dan in New Jersey, how's it going? Cool, we got it done. We got 14 people in here so far. This is awesome. This is awesome. 3 guitars, 2 Kramers, and a BC Rich. Can't play a lick. I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure if you worked on it, Gary. I mean, shit. If I can play, anybody can play. And I can play. Shit. If you'll be able to play as well as I will as well as I do in short order. Believe me. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, got a new video went up today. I'm doing a series. Speaking of the PRS, I'm doing a series called Guitar Arsenal for 2024. The latest episode went up today, and this might be the last one because I don't think people are too interested in my Guitar Arsenal. But anyways, if we get good numbers on that, I'll go ahead and I'll do another one. I did years ago. I did sort of a Guitar of the Day thing, and that was maybe 3 years ago, and I probably only have half of what I had 3 years ago because I just keep rotating guitars. It's a disease. It's a disease, man. You know, once you start, you know, my excuse is, hey, I play in a cover band. Oh, I record original music. You know, by the way, if you haven't already listened to it, check out when did it go up? Last Friday or Saturday. Check out my latest track. It's called What's My Ride. Yeah, it's up on, and if you don't want to watch it on YouTube, you've got Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. It's on all the streaming services. Actually, all my music. I've probably got about 25 songs now. Just type in Guitar Hack on your streaming service, and please subscribe to the Guitar Hack. It's absolutely free, and I'll make half a penny in about 6 months. That's not why I posted. I posted because I want people to hear it. Severe band tips on beginning guitar. I used to teach kids like in the 90s, and usually what I would start them with is just the mechanics of it. You know, give them the mechanics of it. And when I say the mechanics, I mean, you know, stuff that, you know, you're always going to work on, not just as a beginner, but always. Sort of the whole thing of, you know, getting the left and the right hand kind of in sync with each other, right? You know, and the precision of, you know, being able to hit the strings and alternate pick on the strings. So I would give them like exercises where they would just literally just hit open strings 3 or 4 times and then go to the next one, just to sort of get that into their heads. And then once they got that, then I'd give them some, like just a simple chromatic thing, like, you know, just a 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, something like that. You know, it whatever kind of mechanically gets the left hand and the right hand going. You know, and then I, you know, just for fun, I'll give them something really simple to use. That whatever the exercises, you could use that to play like a, you know, something simple, like a simple riff to keep their interest. Because if all you're doing is playing chromatic scales and all the different strings, you're like, this is boring. So you got to give them something, you know, fun to do with the exercises. So that's where I would begin. And believe me, that's stuff that I still work on every day. I mean. Well, not every day, not anymore. But when I pick up the guitar, usually I'll do some quick little exercises just to kind of get the fingers going. You got 2 Fender amps and a Peavey. What amps have you got, Gary? Oh, Mitch is saying, no, Mitch plays quite well. He's actually a better guitar player than I am. Go listen to Mitch Heyman's channel. Watch him do he does some crazy ass shit. He's much too modest. I can't walk and chew gum, let alone play around. There's Wall in the Box. How's it going? I'm not sure they're in the garage at the moment. It's not a good place to keep your amps unless your garage is climate controlled. Wall in the Box, if I haven't said hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing good. It is climate controlled. Cool. Yeah, because that'll... I mean, I know living where I live, if I left my amp... Look, if my amps were in the garage now, they'd be toast. Especially tube amps, because in the cold... That's the only... Well, two things I bring in the house when I come home from a gig in the wintertime is... I always bring in my amps, because they're tube amps, because those tubes, you don't want them to get brittle in the cold. And, of course, I always bring my guitars in. My pedals... They can stay in the car. Not a big deal. Do I own any Gibsons? You mean the Chinese Gibsons? No, I don't. You ordered the new Lurks Limelight guitar. I am envious, Guitar Man 45. I saw that guitar being advertised, and I'm like, oh, you're killing me. But man, it's just, I don't know what what are they in US? Are they, trying to remember now, is it $4,000, like $39.99 or $49.99? All I know is that whatever they cost in the US, tack on about $1,200 to $1,500 more, and that's what they would cost me in Canada. So that's just too rich for my blood. But man, if I had the cash, not only would I buy the guitar, the Lurks, I'd also get the Lurks amp. I don't know if you've seen that, but he's got a head cab and he's got a combo as well, and he's got a pedal that which again is crazy money. It's like $500 or $600. It's called the Bytor. So he's putting out a lot of stuff. You're in California, weather isn't an issue. Yeah. Have I read Geddy's book? Yes, I have. Yeah, I read the whole thing. And, you know, I mean, it's being a Rush fan. I don't think you even have to be a Rush fan to really enjoy that book. It's just a really good book, man. You know, Geddy's just a dude. You know what I mean? He's just a really good dude. Kind of what you see is what you get with Geddy. There's no airs. You know, he's just a genuine article, man. And, you know, and reading that book to me just kind of reaffirmed sort of what my impressions were of Geddy. And you know, Alex, I mean, the whole band, I mean, those guys were just a class act, you know what I mean? They were just good, solid guys, that were totally into the music, you know, and you know, they were blessed to be, and we were blessed to have them as long as we did. Yeah, I'm a huge Rush. I'd say probably Rush is overall is probably, yeah, they're kind of neck and neck with Zeppelin for probably my favorite band of all time. Hey, there's John Z351. How are you? Hey, Cecil Music. 4,000 is too much for lurks. It's all in the eye of the beholder, man. I wouldn't, you know, I wouldn't, if I had that money to blow, I'd do it. But I don't, so. Sweetwater gave you a deal, 3,200. Well, 3,200, I mean, right now here, you know, straight up Les Paul standard is going for over $4,000, so 3,200 ain't crazy. His amp is based off the he tweaked the Silver Jubilee. There's a really good, if you haven't seen it, there's a really good interview with Alex on with the American Music Supply, the AMS guys, where he talks about the guitar, and I think there's another, it might be the same video, maybe. Or there was another video I saw that he was talking about the amp, and he mentioned that he basically tweaked the Silver Jubilee. Both Getty and Alex are really nice. Yes, they're good dudes. Severe Band, 5,000 Canada for alerts. Yeah, see, it's always whatever I see US tack on. I mean, minimum 1,000. Rush the opposite of Kiss. No, oh yeah. Yeah, 100% Cecil. Yeah, a lot of signature. Well, who else has put out a signature? I mean, there's a lot of signature guitars out, but signature guitars that I would be interested in, probably Alex is probably the only one, honestly. Yeah, Gibson is going crazy with their prices, you know. I'm just looking around here. I don't think any Gibson I own that I paid full price for. They're all sort of used, right? No, they're all used. I think all my Gibsons are used. Except for one. One isn't. No, wait. Well, Les Pauls are all used, but the only ones that I got new, another like Firebirds. Firebirds, they don't make them anymore, right? Gibson, the only Firebird you can get now is from Custom Shop. So now the Firebird used prices are going crazy because of that. So, and even my SG was like new old stock. I'm always looking for deals. I followed Rush in a 400-mile radius from Detroit. Seen them a gazillion times. Yeah, Guitar Man 45. I wish I've only seen them twice, and I wish I'd seen them more than that. I saw them on the very last tour, and I saw them what would have been Signals tour. My amp is humming super loud. I don't have an amp. That's software. I could turn it off, but then I won't be playing anymore. But maybe that's a good thing. Maybe you guys don't want to hear me playing anymore. Neil Scalia has a new signature guitar. Adrian Vandenberg has a new PV. Yeah. First concert 2011 when I was 13. My dad took me to the show. It's basically the same set list as Time Machine Live. Cool. That wasn't Cinderella. Let It Go. Tyler got it. On a 2112 tour at Kobo in the 70s. Wow. Yeah, that's a really good sounding record. High and Dry. Yeah. That's probably my favorite Def Leppard. And then Pyromania was okay, and then I went nuts. Then I was out. All right. Let me get rid of this hum, and then I won't be doing any more playing. But let me do this real quick. All right, no more hum. Yeah, yeah. I was watching a bunch. I always watch any interviews with Alex, and the last thing they were talking about was I was talking about are they going to do some more recording with Getty? And usually when that question is asked of Getty, he's always kind of implying that it's Alex that's not the one that's available. But then watching an interview with Alex, and he's saying that it's Getty that's not available. My mic is breaking up. Check one, check two. Okay, give me 1 second, folks. 1 second. Check 1, 2. Let's do this. All right. How's that? That should be better. Hey, Mr. Rock, how are you? No, it's not a bad connection. It's I had in order to play the guitar and have it sound good, I have to use Reaper, and then I can use my bias effects, and then I gotta throw on what else? Then I've got to put in use my loop back, all these different things in order to have a decent guitar tone, but it messes up other stuff, so that's all right. I don't have to play. Communication breakdown. Mr. Rock, how you doing? Hope everybody's doing good, man. Happy Saturday. Yeah, yeah. Still haven't started up with the gigs. I think 2 weeks we start. In we try not to do anything in the winter months because if you live in Canada, you kind of know that it's very unpredictable. Oh, that's with the noise gate on, Dan, in New Jersey. Yeah. If I didn't have the noise gate on, it would be horrible. I got the noise gate on the guitar effect. Um, but anyways, so yeah, we try not to do anything in the wintertime, but when some places that are really cool, you don't want to say no. You want to do the gig just because it's a cool place, and this is a cool place. The other downside about it is an hour and a half away, so it's a long drive. But yeah, the PRS is a beauty. Thanks, man. This is a. Let me talk about this for a second. Another guitar I bought used. This is CE. This is a bolt-on, and it's a funny story with PRS is because I've played a lot of them. There's one store they closed up now, but they were like a PRS dealer, and they had every freaking model of PRS you could think of, right? And like the core stuff, and CEs, and Back then they said what they shit. What was that other? There was another couple of models they had, but I don't think they make them. Anyways, they had a bunch of them, and it's funny because when I played a bunch of them at that store, and the one that I thought sounded the best out of all of them, and there was real expensive ones because they're pretty much all expensive now, was the CE, and I thought, okay, that's kind of weird. Maybe it's an anomaly. And then, like years later, I'm at another store, and they had a bunch of PRSs, and I played them, and I liked the CE the best. And this is after playing like $5,000, $6,000 friggin' PRSs, and for me, I don't know what it was, but the CEs always sounded the best, and I'm like, okay, let's go with that. They're like the least expensive, 100% American-made PRS, right? That's like, you go below that to, what is it, the S2 and the SC. Then you got some, it might be put to, I think it's the S2s. They're assembled here, but the parts are still offshore. So you'd swap the pickups anyways. But anyway, yeah, so the CEs were, and then I really like this color. And the camera kind of looks purpley, but I guess it's depending on the light. But this is kind of like a charcoal gray. So I really like this color, and I found one that was used. And yeah, I mean, this thing just plays itself. The one thing about PRS is that people say, oh, there's no soul, there's no this, there's no that. The thing is, but they're like a really fine precision tool. Like I picked this thing up, and I hadn't played it in probably months, and this thing is still in tune. The action is perfect. The intonation is always perfect. The thing literally plays itself. I mean, if I'm having a bad guitar day, which is most days, you pick this thing up, and it, makes life easier for you. PRS Wall of Fame moved to Cosmo Music. Now they have a ton of PRS. Yeah. Well, one of the places that I played a bunch of them was Cosmo, Mr. Rock, yeah. Am I a fan of EMGs? In fairness, I've never had a guitar with EMGs, but just the idea of the EMG thing kind of, I don't know, I'm a little bit too much of a dinosaur to like batteries on, with pickups, because generally the pickups that I like are usually the lower output pickups. I don't play a lot of metal. I mean, arguably the last tune I wrote was kind of metal. The last two actually, but I mean, in terms of when I play out, I'm not really playing metal, so I'm not looking for that really high saturated. So I like to hear I like to know when I'm playing. I like to be able to recognize the guitar tone underneath. So I'm real minimalist when it comes to effects, and that goes with gain too. I don't like tons and tons of gain. You get so much gain sometimes on some instruments, and it's like you might as well be playing a broom. Like it could be anything, right? I like to hear the character of the guitar, even with some dirt on it. But that's just me. I mean, it's just the stuff that I like. Very on the fence with plugins. Got to use two-note cab. Oh, cool. Play with cabs and amps and IRs. So far, they can't touch a real amp with pedals. So Dan in New Jersey, I briefly owned an HX Effects, which is basically the Helix effects, but without any cab simulations. And I think I did one gig with that because I thought it would gonna make life easier instead of doing the tap dance with the pedals. But I quickly sold it because it didn't sound good. But I hear Helix, when I hear Helix, other people Helix, and I played a Helix briefly when I was at NAMM like 4 years ago, and it sounds great. And the missing ingredient is the IRs. I think when it comes to, and this probably is true with most of these plugins, it really starts with an IR. If you have a good IR, then you have to have that foundation, and then sweeten it up with effects over top of it. But I think that's sort of the main thing there. I like the chunky neck heel. You usually don't see a neck heel that big with a bolt on. The thing is, it doesn't, unlike a Les Paul, and as much as I love Les Pauls, I mean, you can get right up here with this. Because the neck heel, I mean, this is shallower than this. So you can get right up to it. You don't have the big bump there. Like, it doesn't come out to the same depth as the body. So there's plenty of access up high on this. Whereas if you're playing a Les Paul, once you get to a point, you got basically a block in your hand. And you don't experience that with the CE. Do you own a 5-neck guitar? No, I do not. No, I can only handle one neck at a time. If that. Yeah. So if you haven't seen it yet, we did a show with my two partners in crime this week. We did a show on Soundgarden. And I've been getting a lot of rude comments because I didn't pick Bad Motorfinger as my number one. But but I said about 20 times during the course of that show that these albums are so neck and neck that my list could change day to day. But you have to come up with a rating, and Bad Motorfinger didn't end up as number one. But despite that, watch the show if you haven't already. It's up on the channel. It's a ranking of our favorite Soundgarden records. And yeah. And also check out, I'm doing like a series of 2 videos a week now. One is recommend an album to review, which has been going really, really well. I'm getting a lot of people recommending bands for me to check out. I got a list of about, 12 to 15 for this next show. So I got to kind of weed through them and pick something and then just listen to it so I can do a show on it. But that comes out every Thursday. And I started another series called Guitar Arsenal of 2024. Those videos come out every Saturday. And the one that came out, today's Saturday. The one that came out this morning, we'll see. If there's enough interest, I'll continue that series. But most importantly this week, what came out is another song that I wrote, another original, called Where's My Ride? And that one was kind of cool to record. I do all my stuff at my brother's house. He's got like a really nice home studio set up. We did, we used 3 different amps. I only used 2 guitars on that. I used my Strat and a Les Paul. And it's nice. Fritz or Jumbo? I think they're medium jumbos, like what they put in most guitars. The only guitar I have that actually isn't medium jumbos is, speaking of the Strat, because it has tall, thin frets, which actually, if you're doing stuff like like the trills and pull-offs and hammer-ons and all that, it actually makes it a little bit easier. The downside with the tall, thin frets, though, is, and if you have, like, it's a 9.5-inch radius, is that the action has to be set up a little bit higher than I normally like. So, and I did, that was one of the guitars I did in Guitar Arsenal. I think it was the first one I did. Talked about it a bit. But yeah, it's a little bit more work to play. Oh, Tyler liked the Soundgarden show. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for watching. Yes, Wally in the box, you can't please everyone. What kills me is, like, nobody watches the show. Like, they don't listen because I said it about 100 times, right? My favorite show you ever did was Name That Kiss Tune with John, Phil, and Gene. Oh, yeah. Tiny frets, better speed. Yeah, yeah. Well, I had a Les Paul Deluxe, 1980. This is like a long time ago, and I sold it. Well, I traded it in for a 339, which I still own, and that the frets on that were so low, and it was like because there was a point where I don't know if they give there was something called the no fret. I don't know if it was the no fret or it was just whatever fret they used in that guitar. It just like barely was barely above the fingerboard, and that one was it was almost like, I mean, I've never played a fretless guitar, but kind of almost like that. When you go from regular frets to that, but yeah, little different. But I'm gonna be selling some more stuff here, guitar wise. I got an acoustic that I never play. I've only used it for recording. I used it on MindCloud and I think one other song. Again, check out my original songs, folks. Just Guitar Hack in any streaming service, or there's an original songs playlist on this channel. That'd be really appreciated. Um, and yeah, so I never really, because it's got like, I don't know, the big strings, and yeah, I don't know. Well, Cecil Ingve actually scallops. And I don't know if you've ever played a guitar with scallop frets, but it's the weirdest feeling in the world because you're pressing on the note and you're not feeling any wood on your, like on the pads of your fingers. Like literally, you're just pressing on frets and there's no wood underneath it. It's apparently it's supposed to be really good for speed, but I mean, I don't know, like. I don't know. It was there was because there is a it was a Fender. It was actually I think it was like his signature model Fender. I don't know if it's still around, but I remember they had it in the store, and you could just even looking at it, you can kind of see like these dips between the frets. Like this, it was like somebody took a C file and just filed out the wood between the frets. It was kind of yeah. Well, I don't know why you would need bigger frets if you're getting rid of the wood anyway, because it's the same thing, right? I don't know. What do I know? Yeah, yeah. I don't like the scallop boards. Yeah, they're like, yeah. I know some guys I've heard. I've never done it, but they actually scallop like up here so that they can on the whoop, mic's in the way. So they dig up maybe like I don't know 17th fret upward, so they can kind of dig in and get under the string for bends. I don't know. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta learn that melodic minor skill so I can play like Ingve. Apparently that's all he uses. I don't know. I don't know. I was actually gonna I was gonna play my original in here, but that didn't sound very good because it's going through StreamYard. So that was an idea I had earlier. But yeah, another reason I'm gonna sell a guitar is I've got one kind of on order. Yes, like I said earlier, that's why I'm doing this show, a guitar arsenal of 2024, because these are gonna flip. So the new plan is to get rid of um, the acoustic, and I'm looking at getting a uh, I'm trying to think of the full name because it's got a long name. Uh, it's a Telecaster. It's a Fender Telecaster 70s Deluxe Ventura 2. I think is the full name of that guitar, and it's Mexican made. It's the Ventura series. I don't have a problem with Mexican Fenders. I've owned them before. Um, and It's got two humbuckers on it, but the humbuckers are the wide range. And I had a guitar again that's come and gone. That Fender came up with, I don't even know if they still have them. It's called a Meteora. And I had that guitar for a while, and I did plenty of shows with it, and that thing sounded fantastic. It was just it's a weird looking thing, but it sounded really good. And the pickups on it were the same style, sort of the wide range. So yeah, I'm looking at getting something like that. Unfortunately, the guitar dealer that I deal with, I got a buddy of mine that works at this place, and they don't have them in stock, and he has no ETA. So they've had 6 on order for a while, and whenever they get one is coming to me. But this is, and I'll get, I told him, I said I got to play it first and all that kind of stuff, because I mean, I read specs on it. One guy says it's 7.5-inch radius. The other guy, or 7.25. Yeah, I think it's 7.25. Another, guy says, oh, it's a 9.5-inch radius, and then is it tall, thin frets, and then somebody says it's a U shape, and then somebody says it's like all this. I just got to try it. I may not like it just for the neck, and then have to return it anyway. So. Yeah, that's the scale, right? The melodic minor. Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't even know where to start with that. I mean, all I know is my diatonic scales. Yeah, the Q knife magnets. I don't think like the '70s ones had those. Uh, yeah, copper, nickel, iron. Uh, that's the alloy. But the current ones I don't think are Q knife. I think they're probably Alnico like everything else, right? But I know the wide range sound really good, because man, they sounded really good on that Meteora. Like, it's funny. It's a humbucker, and the Meteora I had was 2 humbuckers, same idea, 3-position switch. But it's crazy because it still sounds like a Fender. They still have that kind of bell like, kind of what you have in your head, from listening to Fenders over the years. It still has a kind of bell like sound to it. Yeah, the original ones were, Cecil. Yeah, I'm saying the ones they currently have are not. Yeah. And there's also a Fender Telecaster Deluxe Professional 2, right? Which is almost the same guitar, but it's got some, you can split pickups on it, whatever. And those are just a little too, they're just a little too pricey, and I don't need that extra, I don't need that extra features that it has. I'm just looking for a 2 pickup Telecaster, two humbucker Telecaster, and kind of go from there. Yeah. So let me know if anybody's got any questions about the latest track. Let me know how many people in here have heard the latest track. Let me know. Where's My Ride? If you haven't, please go listen to it. But let me know who in here has heard it. And if anyone's got any questions about that or stuff coming up on the show, I'm still trying to decide which track or which album I'm going to look at for the next recommend an album to review. I want it's like somebody sent me a record that was like, it was like an hour and 20 minutes long. No, I need something. An hour is way pushing it, like 45, 50 minutes, 9, 10 songs, maybe 12 songs tops. So that's a little bit of a chore. So, but it's got to be something that I got to somewhat enjoy it and be able to get through it, or My review is going to be, I hate this, it sucks, I don't like anything on here, and I don't want to do that. I want to be at least be able to listen to it, you know, and not be wincing in pain, and be able to give a sort of a fair assessment of it. I mean, not everything I've heard has been great. The last one I heard, though, was, if you watched that episode 25, I think it was, the last one I got was top 3 of all the weeks I've done it. Check out, you should check out that show and check out that record. It's oh my God, is it good? And I turned Pete onto it as well, and he digs it. So, yeah. Let me know if anyone's got any questions or comments. So yeah, if you're looking for I mean, I was gonna say a cheap PRS, but there's no such thing. A less expensive PRS, I think you want to go CE, because I've owned an SE and it's gone because the pickups were terrible on it. And the first thing that happened was the switch. Like literally within a couple of days, the switch went on it. So it's just, you know, I don't know. They're supposed to inspect them. They're made in, I think that one was Indonesia, and then they get sent to the U.S. and then they're supposed to do a quality inspection on it. I don't think they did a quality inspection on it. I think it came straight from Indonesia. Anyways, it was a dog. So and the other thing that was wrong with it was the neck joint, like you know the where the neck joins the body, like that's one thing you look at any guitar that's well made, where the neck joins the body, like that's perfectly flat, right? The way this one was is like the neck was coming in on a slight angle, and it's not a bolt on, so you can't like pop it off and then shim it, right? Like, like what are you gonna do, right? So so what happened is, when with that SE, is when you're playing up, like camera, when you're playing up high like this, when I was getting up here, it's like it's like I was walking into like a swimming pool or something. It's going in the deep end. Like, yeah. So it had to go. Do you change the electronics on your? Sometimes. Um, I've done pickup swaps before. Um, and sometimes it's worth it to do it. More in my it's my experience. The only time that it's really worth it to do it is if you get like a guitar, like I mentioned, like if you get an SC, and I'll tell you right now, the pickups that come with the SC are very lacking. Okay, they're the basically the offshore versions of this, the 8515s. Um, yeah, they're not. They don't cut it. But if the guitar otherwise is good, like it plays good and it stays in tune, intonation's good, good playing guitar, that's when I would say it's worth it to upgrade pickups. But when you have like, oh, I've got Burstbucker Pros on a Gibson and I want to switch it to 57s, or I want to go from 57s to 61s, like basically when you're kind of staying in the same ballpark, it might not be that noticeable a difference. Sometimes, something as simple, and I've talked about this before on the channel, something as simple as just playing with your pickup heights could be the difference between you swapping pickups and not, right? Just because it's all about the relation of that pickup and that string, like bringing the pickup closer or further away, right? That could make a pickup that sounds woolly all of a sudden come into focus. So, yeah. Hey, Great Vanzini, how are you, buddy? Long time no see, man. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. All right, we got 20 people here. What? I'll hang out here for another few minutes, guys. I feel another cigar coming on. Smoke cigars every day, folks. So it keeps me grounded. Hey, there's Russ. How's Russ doing? Hope you're not still working too hard, man. Yeah, so there's nobody answered my question from earlier. So how many of you have checked out the new song? I haven't seen one yes yet. Yeah, so go over and have a listen when this is over. It's right on the first page of my YouTube page. You listen to it there. You can and then you can see the video. Or if you got again iTunes, Apple Music, Spotify, it's on all the streaming services. Russ listened to it. Thanks, buddy. Yeah. The best comment I got, because it's when you do your own stuff, it's kind of hard to have a perspective on it because it's kind of too close to home. It's like if somebody asks you like, what do you like? Like, what do you like as a person? Like, how do you answer that? Because you're you. You don't know. Somebody else can see something, but it's hard to see stuff within yourself. It's just stuff within yourself. It's the same when you write a tune, right? Like, I write this tune. Yeah, I think it's but somebody actually said a really good comment, and it's like this sounds like Budgie and the Black Keys, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. So that was probably the best comment I ever got on any of my songs was that observation, because again, that's something that I never would have picked up on. You know what I mean? Because yeah. Hey Taylor 315, what does a PRS give you that a Les Paul or Strat doesn't? Um, Clean. I got to talk about clean and dirt as two separate things, right? Because for me, clean, it does a lot. Like this, these actually I prefer clean, um, because it just gives it a different voice. You can tell right away that it's not a Les Paul. You can tell right away that it's not a Strat. It has its own voice. I've done recordings with this clean, and it just sounds beautiful. And with this guitar too, you can split the pickups. Okay, so I can play these as twos. The magic is you play them as single coils and you put it in the middle. So you're using both. It sounds fantastic. Um, Playability. The playability of this um, is I think, a little bit better than the Fenders that I own. It's just easier to play. The intonation is perfect. It's just a really well engineered tool. If you're just looking at it that way. With dirt, my problem is I have with gain, my ear, because I'm old and senile, my ear is waiting for, and I've figured this out over, just recently. My ear is always expecting like a Les Paul sound, or a Fender, or maybe even an '80s like JB sound, because those are those are the sounds that I'm so used to hearing. And not that this sounds bad with gain, but it doesn't sound right. It sounds good, but it doesn't sound right. But for other people who don't have that, ingrained those tones that I talked about, the Les Paul, the Strat, for those people that don't have those tones ingrained in their heads like I do, and you put a little bit of dirt on this, you're gonna, oh yeah, it sounds good, and it does sound good. It's not that it sounds bad, but it just, there's like a conflict, So I've done gigs with this, where obviously I got to use some drive, but every time I'm playing it with drive, it sounds good and everything, but it's like, man, it's not a Les Paul, or man, it's not a Fender. You know what I mean? It's that thing in my friggin' head that I can't get rid of, right? So And I'll give you one example. Um, I was with playing it in a band called Rebel Charm, and I've got all kinds of videos of that too on my channel if you want to check that band out. And I went to a rehearsal and I took this instead of a Les Paul, and that's a Les Paul band generally, right? And I took this and I dialed up a tone. I was playing stereo out of 2 amps. I was coming out of a Meza and a Marshall at the same time. 412 cabs, 100-watt heads. It was glorious, man. I was both sides of the drummer, just you know, nice. And when we started playing like Foreigner, Hot Blooded, or Any Way You Want It, Journey, or any number of songs, Rock and Roll All Night, Kiss, and it wasn't sounding right because these pickups, they sound good, but it's not that sound that my ear's expecting. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody in here, and it's a problem I wish I didn't have, but unfortunately, your ear wants what it wants, right? And so, yeah. I didn't know you had a new tune. I'll go straight. Oh, thank you, John. Appreciate it. Thanks, Vanzini checked it out. Yeah, the pickups sound different for sure. And again, they don't sound bad. I'm not poo-pooing on PRS. It's not the same, Oh, the Silver Skies Vanzini. Now that's a good guitar. I played a bunch of them. I haven't played the SE versions. I played like I said, I played a shit ton of PRSs, and I've yet to pick one up that was bad. And yet to pick. I mean, I think I've only played. Wait a minute. Let's be honest here. How many did I play? Probably 2, maybe 3, and they were all good. And basically, my conclusion: it's a really good Strat. It's basically what it is. It's a really good Strat. That's what a CE or Silver Sky is. Yeah, he's a funny dude, Cecil. I'm not going to get into that conversation, but yeah. I'm not going there, but yeah. uh, yeah. No comment. All right, we got a couple minutes left. Any last questions or comments you guys want to make? Let me know. So again, coming up on the channel, look for another recommended album to review every Thursday at 6. Check out Guitar Arsenal 2024. Those come out every Saturday. If you haven't checked out the one that came out this morning, go check that out. If I get 100 views on that, I'll do another episode of that. But most importantly, go check out my latest original song, Where's My Ride? It's got it's a heavy song, and then I got a nice little breakdown there. I got some guitar harmonies going. I think it sounds pretty good. I'm happy with it. My brother is an absolute master for getting guitar tones. The tones on that song alone are unbelievable. Actually, all the tones on all my... Oh, man. He's just a friggin' beast for that stuff. Den Skill Music is his channel. He's got a YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Den Skill. DENSKIL Music. You should check it out. Oh, Cecil, I'm a huge NFL fan. Oh, yeah, I've been watching NFL for years. Yeah, I'll be definitely watching it. Yeah, there's a 3 o'clock and a 6:30 game. Definitely. Yeah, the way those Vanzini, the way those tracks work is I've got recording software at home. So what I do is I basically make a demo. I record. I dial up the sounds that I want, so it kind of has an idea what it's supposed to sound like, and then I record the demo at home, with all the overdubs, and if there's a solo or I like to do a lot of harmony guitar stuff. I put that all on there. Excuse me. And then I'll send him the demo, and then gives him an idea. And usually, well, last one I showed up at his place at about 11 in the morning on a Saturday, and by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30, all the guitars were done, vocals were done, and we do it that fast because it's all done, it's all worked out. I just got to be able to play it without screwing it up, and if I can do that and do the vocal on it, then dial in the tones and everything else, and I just plug in all his gear. I used all his gear. I used just my guitars, but all his gear on the last one. And then he puts the bass on it, and he puts drums on it. I'm usually playing to a click when I'm recording, and then he'll put the drums on it, and then he sends me mixes, and then we usually go through, like, I think this last one took about 4 mixes before it's like, all right, that's the one, and notes back and forth, and then it's done. So that's usually, we knock them out in about 3-4 hours. All right, appreciate it, Cecil. All right, folks, thanks for hanging out. I'll do this again next month. I like to do these once a month, and hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. And we'll catch you all soon. Cheers, everybody. Take care.